What's shaking AC?
What's up with that?
I don't know. As I was saying it, I remembered somebody from pop culture would go like that, and I can't even remember who it is.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that'll be you now. That's your new thing.
Yeah.
Hey, I recently learned a new, maybe it's a Canadianism. I'm not sure, but you know how people like you shorten words or, you know, words that come up that aren't really words that we use?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, I took a rip on my moose this morning. It was mint.
Okay, well, I heard a new one a couple times in the last week or so that I'm like, is that one out there? And I just didn't notice it. It's I'm gonna go on my I can't even do it. It's like I'm gonna, but instead of I'm gonna.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm going to. Like I'm gonna go on my moose. So then I got to thinking, like, what about all the other ones? Like, that's a whole nother story.
Yep.
Like that's
Anyways,
not a
anyways or anyway, right? Like
why do we put an S on anyway?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's probably somebody out there who's like a linguistics professor and he's going to be like, let me tell you about all the history behind this and spoil our fun. But I guess it is what it is.
But it's funny when you hear these words and you want to say something to the person. Like, do you realize what that sounds like when you say it?
Yeah. Look it. Part of me.
So that's a kid one, I think, too, right? Look it. Yeah. But you're right. We do. Yeah, I think I would say that. Like if I was walking with you and Robert, look it.
Yeah, but if you're showing somebody something, you go, look it.
Yeah.
Right? I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, well, that was valuable time. Okay.
Okay, look it. So one thing I've noticed about your entire organization, AC Inc., is you guys are incredibly selective as to what types of franchisors you bring onto your team. You're not just going to work for work with any type of franchisor in order to chase the almighty buck, you know, and just bring on whatever, right? You're always looking to make sure that they leave with value and results. And in order to get that, there's a specific kind of franchisor that you will talk to. Anyone else can just go hit the highway, right? So I want to ask you about how you tell me about this. Define this for me. Why is it like that? And go.
Okay. I didn't prepare a presentation, but I will try to answer this question. Well, that's a good one. And in doing this for 6 years, you know, working directly with clients, one thing I noticed over time as I went on is that certain traits, or I guess their traits, made it work better. And I think everybody probably would have different criteria for what would work for them. But fit is everything. So for me, I discovered, and this is what now as a team, we all look for, is that we want them to be, watch the first word is the F word, fun, competent, and growth-minded. Because initially what I realized when I was just on my own is that, like, if they weren't competent, I know that sounds like, well, they need help. I can help them be more competent. But by competent, I mean, like, are they capable of going off and doing the work, you know, or are they just kind of all over the place and I can't rein them in? By growth minded, what I learned is that working with people well, how I could tell they weren't growth minded is they were afraid to spend money, or they didn't have the money to spend. But they also weren't like, I believe that as a franchisor, you have to really be thinking long term. You know, you're investing a lot in the early stages to get the business off the ground as a franchise, and you can't just think short term. So that one became clear just in seeing people resist spending money. And then fun. I mean, I just like, who wants to work with somebody that's sitting across the screen and they're like, you know, like not fun. And, you know, like it makes it really hard when people are super serious because you don't know what they're thinking. And I don't know, I just found that really awkward and uncomfortable. So fun, competent, and growth-minded, those are some traits that we look for, or like they're sort of the non-negotiables, I would say.
It sounds like it's a two-way street, because if those things exist, then you're able to help them appropriately, but also they contribute back to you in that, you know, you have fun going to work and building your business and all that sort of stuff, right? It's all about sort of the people that you surround yourself with, whether they're family, friends, or coworkers.
people you work with, franchisees. Yeah, I think that well, I learned also, and to this day, it's so important that there's a fit there when I'll just go back to the clients for a minute with our clients. If they're, and so it's not about being, snobbish or selective just for the sake of, well, we only work with, it's because we know who we can help the best. And the worst thing ever is when we don't listen to that. We get into a working arrangement with somebody and we're trying to be their partner. We're trying to work with them. And if they don't have, especially the competent and growth minded traits, if they don't have those traits, then it's soon going to fall apart, and it could reflect poorly on us. That person could think that we didn't deliver on what we said we were going to deliver, because that might be how they see it. So the fit, it's not about being arrogant or anything like that. It's about who can we help the best. Then just if you extend that out to whoever you attract in your life, if you want to, somebody that's going to give you energy, it's going to be somebody that you feel like a fit with.
Yeah, there's a common phrase out there that says, "Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future." So it's like who you surround yourself with is ultimately kind of what you become or who you are. And that's kind of what I was, they're coworkers, or franchisees, but they're ultimately friends as well, right? So if you're going to surround yourself with those type of people, that's how you're going to grow into the future, right? So I guess the question goes the other way: is if those are the people that you want, you must have those facets in your own sort of core values in order to attract those kind of people.
I guess so. I never had thought of it that way.
Yeah.
I am. No, I'm kidding. But no, you're right. Well, I guess it's aligning on core values, right? Like, and I think it relates as well to, definitely, I mean, since a lot of our giant audience are in the franchise community, it really relates to when you're finding franchisees. I think, I always talk about the 10 traits, the universal traits of a high performing franchisee. If you're trying to find the right fit so that you can help them, you want to make sure they have those traits, and then you want to make sure they align with your core values. But I think there's a few, like, what are your non-negotiables that, like, you would, you can help them if they're like this, like getting clear on that. And it might overlap with the core values and the DNA, but getting clear, because that's the worst thing, when you just can't help someone and it's sort of your obligation.
Yeah. One of my non-negotiables is must love dogs.
Okay. So how does that play out when you, with your franchisees?
Well, you know what, like, you raise another very interesting point, because this almost goes, sort of crosses the realm into the concept of sort of manifestation, which I know is a buzzword these days, and there's a lot of negative, I guess, press around it, because a lot of people will say this is sort of hokey, hocus pocus, kumbaya, and all that sort of stuff. But I just want to say that anyone who's saying that, I'm going to say this straight up, right at the camera: you do not know what you're talking about, because there actually is scientific research and physics and stuff that backs this up. There's been experimentations done. It's a real thing. So, yeah, without getting too controversial, I just want to say, like, whatever, I'll leave it there.
Well, what I love about, being here ranting with you about that is that I think I brought that maybe to your attention, and you probably were like, I can't believe this unless I research it to death and make sure that it's actually true. I can't believe it because it's just hard to. So you spent a lot of time digging deeper into, way more than I have. So you're speaking from experience. You were a naysayer or a skeptic about it, which maybe that's another rant for another day. Manifestation, and maybe we can sort of share some thoughts on that, because that. Yeah. But back to people that you surround yourself with, I think it's pretty obvious. We pick up things from each other. We learn from each other. I think it's really important to align on figuring out what are those things that are really important to you.
Yeah. Well, I think my point was, if you're fun and growth oriented and competent, those are the kind of people you're going to attract.
Right. Yeah. Because and then if somebody's not those traits, they probably don't want to work with us.
Yeah.
Because they see that we're like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Simple as that.
Okay, AC, let's wrap it up. Another one for the books.
You ready?
You ready?
What's that thing you're doing? 3,
2, 1. Go be awesome.